Tensions between Lil Meech and Rick Ross just exploded after a wild private meeting that spiraled completely out of control. What was supposed to be a calm business talk turned into a full-blown showdown when Meech snapped, accusing Ross of destroying his life. "You ruined my life and everything my father built!" Meech shouted, furious over the rumored $120 million BMF deal that Ross allegedly set up behind his back. Sources say Ross manipulated contracts and secretly cut Meech out of the profits tied to the BMF legacy, leaving him broke and embarrassed. To make things worse, 50 Cent, who once warned Meech not to trust Ross, jumped in saying, "I told him how this would end." Now everyone's talking, as this fiery clash has reignited massive debates about loyalty, power, and betrayal in the hip-hop world. With trust completely shattered, the BMF empire is crashing into its most dangerous chapter yet. Things just took a dark twist for Lil Meech, and it's falling apart fast.
He did a lot for everybody, man. Banks, Lamborghinis. I'm over Banks had a Lamborghini, that should be in the snow, man. He even put it in the garage, in the snow.
Once the breakout star of the hit BMF series and seen as the next big force in entertainment, Meech is now watching his entire empire crumble right in front of him. And right in the eye of the storm stands Rick Ross. His slick schemes and sneaky power plays may have just wrecked Lil Meech's whole career before it ever reached its peak. Now everyone's asking the same question. How did it all fall apart so fast? How did a young rising star with fame, money, and major industry backing suddenly end up cut off from his biggest opportunities and scrambling just to stay afloat? And then comes the twist no one saw coming. Why did 50 Cent pull the plug on the BMF show? At first, things looked perfect for Meech. He was shining in his role, cashing huge checks, and becoming one of the most talked about names in hip-hop TV. His acting career was skyrocketing, and his future looked unstoppable.
So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. It's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it. I'm just talking.
But the second Rick Ross stepped in, everything started to unravel. Known for playing petty games and plotting from the shadows, Ross cozied up with Big Meech fresh out of prison. And let's be real, this wasn't about loyalty or business. This was a cold move against 50 Cent, pure revenge disguised as connection. The fallout hit like an earthquake. In a move that stunned both fans and insiders, 50 Cent dropped the hammer. BMF was canceled, just like that. Overnight, Lil Meech's main source of income vanished into thin air. No more million-dollar contracts, no more red carpets, no more spotlight. Years of grinding and building momentum gone, all because Rick Ross decided to play power games with real people's lives. Then Ross had the nerve to brag, saying, "I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster small-budget series. Now it's time for a big-budget movie." Which director? Shout out to my homies F. Gary Gray, and what's up, Tarantino? There's a lot of legends. He hyped it up, saying, "This is gonna be big. I can feel it. I'm just talking. I'm just saying." But everyone knew what was really going on. Ross wasn't just talking movies, he was throwing shade. His blockbuster vision was nothing but a slick way to rewrite history and snatch control of a legacy that never belonged to him. To really get how deep this goes, you gotta rewind the story.
All that because it was still my start. So I was just going to the stars, building, the company building, meeting with the execs, and there might be one or two execs in there, and they just watching me see if I'm good enough.
You took a picture with Rick Ross. Back against the wall and just slide.
The bond between 50 Cent and Big Meech goes way back to the early 2000s, when BMF wasn't just a name, it was a movement. Back then, Meech wasn't just known in the streets, he was the streets, rolling in luxury cars, throwing wild parties, and moving with that untouchable boss energy that had everyone talking. Big Meech's power went way beyond the streets. It was cultural domination. His name carried weight from Atlanta to Hollywood, and everyone wanted to be part of that BMF wave. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was on his own unstoppable climb, breaking records with Get Rich or Die Trying. He flipped hip-hop upside down with his raw storytelling and unfiltered energy that nobody could match. Their worlds started rising at the same time, BMF running the South and 50 running the charts. As 50 once said himself, the crew in the South really had money down there. They were living life to the fullest. The connection between those two movements felt inevitable. Eventually, their paths crossed, and for a moment, 50 and Big Meech were like family. Tony Yayo even confirmed it, saying 50 used to hang out at Big Meech's mansion with a young Lil Meech right there watching it all go down. Back then, it wasn't just about business or fame. It was about respect, loyalty, and the hunger to win together. But those golden days of brotherhood wouldn't last. What started as admiration would soon turn into one of the most complicated public feuds hip-hop has ever seen. Lil Meech grew up hearing his father's stories, completely captivated, watching and learning from how Big Meech carried himself like a legend.
You know, he kind of broke the barrier between, you know, the Atlanta, the dirty South country, you know what I'm saying, thing. So you know what, they really got some money down there. They really having fun down there. I want to go to Atlanta.
According to Tony,
Big Meech had that kind of presence you could feel the moment he walked in. His aura was larger than life, and his influence demanded respect everywhere he went. But while Meech was chasing the thrill of fast money and flashing luxury, 50 Cent was playing a whole different game. He wasn't chasing short-term wins or quick flips. He was building an empire. Every move he made was calculated, like a master chess player, aiming for real power and generational wealth. And that's where the real difference between them started to show. Two powerful men, same drive, but completely different visions. One part of this story that rarely gets the attention it deserves is the moment 50 stepped in for Lil Meech. A decision that flipped the young man's life upside down in the best way. At that time, Lil Meech was grinding to make it as a rapper. But truth be told, nobody in the BMF circle was really backing him like that. His potential was there, but it wasn't being developed until 50 came along and saw what others couldn't. Instead of just giving him a cosign, 50 made a boss move. He put Lil Meech in acting school, investing in him, molding him into something bigger. That move opened the door to a whole new chapter and gave Lil Meech a shot at true stardom. I remember when he was rapping and nobody was helping him, Tony Yayo recalled. From what I saw, 50 was the one who really believed in him. And he wasn't lying. Even Lil Meech admitted that 50's support changed everything.
Right here, refrigerator, stove. It's the Ferrari right here. Keep the Ferrari for good luck. My Egyptian style furniture, the lion. I like that old school
When I
look.
first started acting, I thought it was just like school, Meech explained. I'm the type who's always trying to figure out how to get an A+ without anyone telling me how. That grind mentality, mixed with 50's guidance, became the turning point that reshaped his whole career. That early investment paid off big time. It gave Lil Meech the foundation to land his breakout role in BMF, the same show that turned him into a household name and helped him step out of his father's shadow. While others were busy talking about the old days, 50 was out here building the future, brick by brick. According to Tony Yayo, 50 didn't just throw opportunities at Meech, he planned everything carefully. He put Lil Meech through an intense acting program, keeping it all low-key until the timing was perfect. And when BMF finally hit stars, the payoff was impossible to ignore.
Don't play with Wham. You go Virgil. Virgil on them folk.
This was Lil Meech's breakout moment, and his talent spoke for itself. His rise wasn't luck. It was the result of 50 Cent's blueprint, built quietly behind the scenes to make sure when the lights hit, Lil Meech was ready to shine like a star. But 50's loyalty didn't stop at giving Lil Meech a role. He kept showing up, time and time again. Over the years, he stepped in more than once to help Meech survive situations that could have ended his career before it even took off. There was the airport incident when Meech got detained over a firearm, and another time when he was accused of stealing a luxury watch. And both times, 50 was right there, guiding him through the chaos like a mentor and a protector. During one of those tense moments, authorities could be heard saying, "Okay, I'm just..."
Officer, you're just rapping like a drug dealer. It shows you that's the point in our culture that you can identify with you actually being who you say you are.
This is for your safety and everyone else around you. There's a possibility of weapons involved. We have to confirm it. The X-ray doesn't tell us 100%. The situation was serious, but 50 made sure things didn't spiral out of control. He played the big brother role perfectly, keeping Meech focused, calm, and out of harm's way. But while 50 was helping Lil Meech grow, new drama was quietly brewing in the background. As Meech's fame skyrocketed, rumors started swirling that Big Meech himself wasn't thrilled with how close his son had gotten to 50. Then came the bombshell. A now-deleted Instagram post from 50 hinted that Big Meech might have been part of the issue all along. He suggested that instead of pushing his son toward better choices, Big Meech might have been subtly steering him the wrong way. That shocking hint added a whole new layer to an already messy situation, and fans couldn't believe what they were seeing unfold. All this drama has deep roots. It goes way back to the original BMF legacy. In 2006, the Empire got hit with a massive federal RICO indictment out of Georgia. A groundbreaking case that accused BMF of being both a criminal organization and a legitimate record label at the same time. That case changed everything, setting the tone for how law enforcement would treat hip-hop crews for years to come. And that shadow still hangs heavy today, especially over 50 Cent, Big Meech, and Lil Meech. While 50 tried to guide Lil Meech away from dangerous habits and warn him about the trap of substance abuse, Big Meech seemed to be doing the total opposite, glorifying the same lifestyle that nearly destroyed it all. "I thought about it," 50 wrote. "I think he was uncomfortable with the relationship between me and Meech. I'm telling Meech not to mess with certain things, and he's telling him he used to do that, like it's something cool. That clash in values was a major red flag that changed everything. But 50's frustrations didn't stop there. He told Lil Meech to chill on the reckless spending, to think long-term and move smart. But instead of backing that up, Big Meech reportedly bragged about how much money he used to blow, painting it like a badge of honor instead of a cautionary tale. That difference in mindset, discipline versus danger, became the breaking point between them all. While 50 was all about discipline, structure, and long-term growth, Big Meech seemed trapped in the past, still celebrating the wild chaos that once made him a legend. That clash in mindset explains everything about why their relationship eventually crumbled. Then came the breaking point, and it was explosive. 50 Cent dropped a bombshell, revealing that he had to send Lil Meech to rehab over an alleged substance issue. Fans were stunned. After everything 50 had done to build him up, protect him, and invest in his future, things behind the scenes were still falling apart fast. After pouring in time, money, and loyalty, 50 finally hit his limit. He cut Lil Meech off completely, pulled the plug on the BMF series, and shut down all the financial support. Just like that, the millions that once seemed endless disappeared overnight. And to make it even worse, Meech wasn't helping his own situation. Let's be real, his spending was out of control. The cars, the jewelry, the luxury lifestyle, it was all going full speed with no brakes. His world was spinning, and this time, there was no one left to save him. Luxury cars, iced out jewelry, designer drip, and private jet rides, that became Lil Meech's everyday lifestyle. He wasn't just living good, he was living wild. Tony Yayo even called him out, pointing out that Meech was rocking multiple Richard Mille watches. And those aren't just pricey, they start at around $500,000 each. Having more than one? That's next level reckless. It was the perfect storm. Crazy spending, shady influences, and a refusal to listen to the people who were actually trying to help him. And in the end, that dangerous mix led to the downfall of what could have been one of the most powerful success stories in hip-hop. Instead of locking in generational wealth and creating a legacy beyond BMF, Lil Meech found himself cut off, broke, and forced to start all over again from zero. His spending habits were out of control. Reports say he was dropping 10 grand on a single pair of Chrome Hearts jeans, like it was nothing. Tony Yayo recalled, Lil Meech got Richard Milles, Chrome Hearts jeans, $10,000. I buy some chrome hearts for 10 grand, I might wear them for a month. $10,000 jeans, bro. Back in the day, we were buying red monkeys. Those were what? $1,000. The contrast between then and now is wild. Meech went from a promising young star to a symbol of reckless excess. And the craziest part? That was only the beginning. On social media, his flashy lifestyle was about to stir up even more drama. Lil Meech couldn't stop flexing his luxury lifestyle online. Every post looked like a scene straight out of a millionaire's dream. From designer wardrobes to a mansion that could have been featured in a top-tier magazine, he showed it all off proudly. "This is my kitchen right here," he bragged in one clip, flashing high-end appliances. "Here's the Ferrari. I keep it for good luck. My Egyptian furniture, the lion. I like that old school look." Every inch of that house screamed wealth and status. Meech wasn't just living like a star. He was hanging with them too. He was constantly seen chilling with Future, Lil Baby, and Gunna, artists who make millions off shows and streams. But here's the truth. Those guys are playing in a whole different league. They can drop stacks like it's nothing. But Meech didn't have that same cushion. Tony Yayo even spoke on it, saying, "Lil Baby don't owe you anything. Maybe 50 should have brought a bag for Meech, maybe a watch or something." That statement said a lot. Meech was trying to keep up with people who were way ahead financially. Even Yayo admitted that back in G-Unit's prime, they blew cash too. Cars, chains, designer fits. But there was one major difference. 50 Cent always had a plan. He wasn't just spending to look rich. He was investing to stay rich. And that's exactly where Meech went wrong, chasing the image instead of building the foundation. 50 Cent wasn't just spending to show off. He was flipping his money into real businesses, stacking investments, and building wealth that would last long after the music stopped. Every flashy move had strategy behind it. Every chain, every car, every deal was part of a bigger plan. Lil Meech, on the other hand, was living like the checks would never stop rolling in. But with no financial discipline or long-term vision, that lifestyle turned into a trap. Without a solid plan, even the biggest bag can vanish overnight. And for Lil Meech, that harsh truth was about to hit harder than ever. "You did a lot for everybody, man. Banks, Lamborghinis. I'm over banks," one insider said. "He had a Lamborghini sitting in the snow, man. Didn't even put it in the garage." That moment perfectly summed up the difference between 50's empire-building mindset and Meech's reckless spending spree. 50 built his fortune through strategy, calculated spending, smart investments, and a constant focus on growth. But Meech? He was chasing an image instead of following the blueprint. While rappers like Future and Lil Baby were earning millions through tours, merch, and business ventures, Meech didn't have those extra revenue streams. And now that the BMF checks have dried up, the cold reality is setting in. That high-end lifestyle he flaunted so proudly isn't built to last forever. Lil Meech kept showing off like the good times would never end. The flashy cars, the designer drip, the private jet rides, all over social media for everyone to see. But that lifestyle was about to get way harder to keep up. "I don't play with Wham, you know, Virgil," Meech once said, shouting out the late fashion legend Virgil Abloh, proof of just how deep he was caught up in chasing image and appearances. The wild part? None of this was shocking to 50 Cent. He saw it coming. He warned Meech time and time again to slow down, stop spending like the money was endless, and start focusing on the bigger goal, building real wealth instead of just looking rich. But Meech didn't listen. He was too caught up in flexing for the gram, and now those bad choices are catching up fast. The reckless spending, the flashy lifestyle, and the refusal to change, it all led to a financial meltdown that could have been avoided if he just listened. And that's when Rick Ross slid right back into the picture. While Meech's finances were falling apart, Ross saw an opportunity to stir the pot. Their rivalry runs deep, one of the most explosive beefs in hip-hop, and Ross was ready to use every bit of this chaos to turn up the heat on 50 all over again. This whole saga traces back to when 50 Cent exposed Rick Ross's past as a correctional officer, a bombshell that shattered Ross's street image and shook the culture. From that moment, things got ugly. The two have been at war for years, trading diss tracks, online shots, and brutal personal insults that blurred the line between rap beef and real-life hate. "Correctional officer that's rapping like a drug dealer," 50 once said, calling Ross out directly. "It shows you how far the culture shifted. You can pretend to be whoever you say you are, that jab hit deep. And Ross has never fully recovered from the stain it left on his rep." Now, with all this new drama surrounding Lil Meech blowing up in real time, that old feud just reignited like wildfire. This time, it's not just about music, it's about money, pride, and revenge, all tangled together in one messy explosion. Because when Rick Ross linked up with Big Meech, everyone knew exactly what was going on. It wasn't about loyalty or brotherhood or building something real. It was pure payback. Ross saw a chance to take another shot at 50 Cent, and he took it. And in one of the pettiest twists the game's ever seen, he ended up tanking Lil Meech's entire career in the process. The wildest part? None of this had to go down. 50 saw the setup from miles away. He warned Lil Meech again and again that this move wasn't love, it was a trap. But Meech stayed loyal to his father, doubled down with Ross, and now he's left facing the painful price of that decision. The fallout has been brutal. 50 Cent officially cut all ties. Done, finished, hands completely washed of the situation. Lil Meech is now out of a job, disconnected from one of the most powerful men in the industry and scrambling to figure out his next move. The BMF series, the very project that made him a star, is dead in the water, and now he's racing against time to find a new lane before his momentum disappears for good. But with Rick Ross back in the mix, things could still get even messier. If Big Meech keeps getting closer to Ross, this whole situation might spiral into something even darker, dragging everyone involved into drama they never saw coming. So now, the big question remains: did Lil Meech make a massive mistake by siding with his father and Ross? Or was 50 completely right to walk away and cut his losses after giving everything he had? And let's be real, is Rick Ross just being petty? Or is he playing the game the only way he knows how? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you never miss another wild update. And trust me, you're definitely going to want to see what's coming next.